Welcome to Bioglam Curvy Models, where beauty meets confidence and every curve tells a story. My name is Kelly Johana, and this is the story of how I discovered my power, my passion, and the curves that I now wear like armor. I remember the earliest days of my life, growing up in a sun-soaked neighborhood in Miami, where the scent of street-side mangoes mingled with the hum of cars and the rhythm of laughter. My family was modest, but rich in warmth, culture, and stories. My mother, a woman of quiet strength, taught me that confidence wasn't something people gave you, it was something you claimed. My father, with his endless humor and his endless love for music, showed me that joy could be found in small, fleeting moments, and that those moments could carry you through the storms that life inevitably brings. From the very beginning, I felt different. I wasn't the thinnest girl in class, and I wasn't the one with the sharpest elbows or the quietest voice. I was curvy, tall, and unapologetically present. I often felt the stares, the whispers, and the subtle judgments that seemed to float around me. And though they could have crushed me, something inside refused to shrink. Instead, I began to watch, to study, and to imagine. I imagined a world where curves weren't hidden, where beauty wasn't confined to a single standard, and where women like me could not only exist, but thrive. I took my first tentative steps into fashion when I was 17. I remember standing in front of a cracked mirror in my tiny bedroom, holding a borrowed camera and trying to recreate the magazine spreads I had admired. I wore my mother's vintage dresses and my grandmother's bold earrings, and I posed with a confidence I didn't yet feel. I didn't know it at the time, but that small ritual, performed in the quiet of my room, would become the first chapter of my journey. My first real break came a few years later when a local photographer noticed me at a street-style shoot in downtown Miami. He saw something in me, a presence, a fire, a certain way I filled a frame, and he asked me to collaborate. I remember feeling exhilarated and terrified all at once. Every pose, every click of the shutter was a revelation. I began to see myself not as the girl who didn't fit in, but as someone who could define her own space. It was intoxicating and it was transformative. Soon, opportunities began to grow. I started posting images on Instagram, curating a feed that celebrated curves, color, and confidence. My captions were candid, raw, and often sprinkled with humor. Actitude, hashtag curvy confidence, hashtag soft sensuality, hashtag confidence is sexy. I began to receive messages from women all over the world, women who saw themselves in me, women who told me they finally felt seen. That validation wasn't the reason I kept going, but it became a source of inspiration, a reminder that my journey could touch lives beyond my own. But the path was never without struggle. There were agents who told me my body wasn't marketable, brands that dismissed me for not fitting the traditional model mold, and countless days when I doubted whether I belonged. I remember nights staring at the ceiling, wondering if the world would ever accept someone like me. And yet, each rejection became a seed of resilience. I learned to listen not to the world's doubts, but to my own voice, to the voice that whispered, "You are enough, you are seen, you are ready." Love found me in the midst of this chaos, a whirlwind of passion and heartbreak. I remember meeting him at a rooftop party, the city lights reflecting in his eyes, the music vibrating through my chest. For a while, it felt like the world had tilted in perfect alignment. We laughed, we dreamed, we imagined futures together. But love, like life, can be unpredictable. Betrayal and heartbreak came crashing in like waves, and I was left to rebuild not just my trust in another, but my trust in myself. Those nights were long and silent, filled with tears and self-questioning. but they were also the nights I discovered my own power, the power to rise from pain, to reclaim joy, and to rewrite the story I would tell myself. Through every personal and professional storm, I found sanctuary in my art. Each shoot became a meditation, each outfit a declaration, each caption a manifesto. I cultivated a style that was unapologetically me. Vibrant colors that celebrated skin tones, flowing fabrics that highlighted curves, and bold statements that said, without a word, I am here, I am alive, I am powerful. With every image, every post, every step onto a runway, I was not just modeling fashion, I was modeling confidence, self-love, and resilience. My career eventually grew to international stages. I remember the first time I walked a runway in Paris, the chill of the backstage air mixing with the heat of anticipation. Designers and photographers buzzed around me, their eyes assessing every movement. My heart pounded, but I felt an unshakable calm settle over me. When the lights hit and the music swelled, I walked with the full force of my being, the culmination of years of doubt, practice, heartbreak, and triumph. I realized then that the world was no longer imposing its standards on me. I was setting my own. Social media amplified my reach, allowing me to connect with audiences across continents. Fans sent letters, comments, and messages that spoke of transformation. Women who had begun to embrace their own bodies, who had stopped hiding their curves, and who had started chasing dreams they thought were impossible. I began to see my work not just as self-expression, but as service. Every photo, every story, every post became a small act of empowerment. Yet with visibility came scrutiny. The public eye is unrelenting, and I had to navigate its glare with care. People commented on my body, my choices, my relationships, and my personality. Some praise, some criticism, and often a mixture of both. I learned to filter the noise, to lean on my inner compass, and to recognize that the most important validation comes from within. Each critique became a lesson in resilience, each compliment a reminder of the responsibility my platform carried. Romance re-entered my life cautiously, teaching me the delicate dance between vulnerability and self-protection. I learned that love could be a partner in growth, but only when rooted in respect, trust, and authenticity. And so I moved forward, carrying the lessons of my past relationships while opening my heart to possibility, not as a prerequisite for happiness, but as a celebration of it. Through it all, my mission remained clear: to redefine beauty standards, to celebrate curves, to give women and girls permission to be seen, and to live unapologetically. I collaborated with brands that aligned with my vision, launched campaigns that amplified diverse voices, and mentored emerging models and influencers who faced the same struggles I once did. My work became a blend of artistry and advocacy, proving that glamour and social impact are not mutually exclusive. There were moments of doubt, of course. The industry is competitive, the nights long, and the pressure unrelenting. But in those moments, I turned inward, meditating on my journey, visualizing the women I wanted to inspire, and remembering the little girl in Miami who once stood in front of a cracked mirror, imagining a world where she could shine. It was for her and for every woman like her that I continued forward. Fashion became my language, Instagram my stage, and my body my message. Curves were no longer a source of insecurity, they were my signature. Each curve told a story of resilience, each smile a testament to survival, each pose a declaration of freedom. And as the world watched, I realized that empowerment wasn't about perfection, it was about presence. I traveled the globe, attending fashion weeks in Milan, Paris, and New York, I stood before cameras that had once felt like obstacles and now felt like instruments of self-expression. I worked with designers who challenged me, photographers who captured my essence, and mentors who guided me with wisdom. Every collaboration was a lesson in self-awareness, professionalism, and creativity. And through it all, I never lost sight of my roots, the warmth of Miami, the lessons of my parents, the first moments of self-discovery in my bedroom. They reminded me that no matter how far I traveled, my authenticity was my anchor. I began to understand that true glamour comes from the confidence you carry, the empathy you show, and the courage to live fully in your own skin. Now, as I reflect on my journey, I see it as a tapestry woven with triumphs and trials, love and loss, doubt and discovery. Each stitch tells a story, and every story is